Happy Tuesday, everyone. Today we're going to continue representing numbers in different ways. Our main question that we asked yesterday, and we're going to ask it again today, how can we read and write three-digit numbers? Today, our lesson target is I will read and write three-digit numbers. We're going to be doing those in different ways. We learned some forms yesterday. Today, we're adding a new one, but it's going to be pictorial form. And standard form we talked about yesterday, and some of you had actually already did well with expanded form, even though I didn't actually introduce it yesterday. So today we are going to focus on taking numbers from pictorial and standard form and writing them in expanded form. Expanded form is going to be very important for us in third grade because we will use expanded form to add and subtract numbers. That's one of the strategies you're going to be using for addition and subtraction because we don't learn how to use the standard algorithm, which means the stacking those numbers and regrouping. We don't do that in third grade. That happens in fourth grade. So you're going to find some strategies that will help you with addition and subtraction that are not what I call the standard algorithm. And you'll learn more about that later on in your education through the years. So let's go to our vocabulary screen. The only new one that has been added is the pictorial form. It's representing numbers using pictures. So I can draw pictures. I can use manipulatives to show those. Pictorial versions of that form of number. So I am today going to be focusing on the pictorial form, expanded form, and the standard form in this particular lesson today. So we're just going to start right out. Before we go, though, I would like to just go over what a digit means. A digit is the symbols 0 through 9 used to write a number. Yesterday, we had a problem of the day where you were to put, it had a number and then a couple of boxes, minus a number and a couple more boxes. In those boxes, it said to put the digit 1 through 9. If you put more than one digit in that box, then it made the number a much larger number. We only needed one digit per box to make a three-digit number. So be careful with those. Make sure you read the instructions well. I did love some of the answers that I got yesterday on that one, though. Everybody was thinking about what numbers would be closer to 200. I had some people who asked or answered my question that I said, how many can you find? I had people giving me multiple answers. If you've looked at your responses from yesterday, was over 1,200 answers on that problem if you were allowed to use the digits more than once. There were over 600 if you were only allowed to use them once. So there was multiple answers that could have been given on that problem. So I love that you took the initiative to give me more than just one. I like the way that happens because those kind of problems are to get you thinking and have you giving more answers than just one. So today we're going to work right into expanded form. And I want you to look at the number that it's giving you. It says, how would you write 362 in expanded form? So let's think about what that number's saying. When I read that number to you, 362, what you already know about place value is going to help us write this in expanded form. So I want you to look at the digit 3 in this number, and tell me what place value you think that is. So in your mind, I want you to be thinking, what place value is that 3 in? Now, when I say the number, I actually say the place value, 300. So there's 3 hundreds there. So the place value is hundreds place value. And that would be written in expanded form. If I've got a rubber band and I'm going to expand that number, I'm going to actually write it as the place value. So I have 3 hundreds. Okay. The next number is the 6. The next digit is the 6. That 6 is actually in, I hope you're saying the tens place. Please say the tens place. So that's telling me I have 6 tens. We know that if I count by my tens 6 times, that I'm going to have 60. So I'm going to stretch that number out and write it in expanded form so that I can see what the real value of that 6 is. Because where it's placed in that number changes the value. It's not just a 6. And this 2, hopefully you're saying that is in the ones place. That means we have 2 ones, and 2 ones is just 2. Why is place value so important to us? Does anybody have a clue? I hope you're thinking right now when I ask that question, because there's many reasons for place value, but the biggest is just so that we know the value of the digit. There is a much bigger difference in a value of a digit. If I have 2 6s and one of them's in the hundreds place and one's in the tens place, that one in the hundreds place is 10 times greater than the one in the tens place. The one in the tens place would be 10 times greater than the one in the ones place. So the value of the digit is very important, especially for money for us when we're dealing with money. Not really sure why my question went up there so far. All right, the next part of this problem I'm going to ask is about the question that I'm asking at the bottom. If I'm expanding that number and pulling it apart, what should I put in between each number? Because I don't want the number to be parted completely. I just want to stretch it. So I want it to come back together and make that standard form of 362. So if I want to put it back together, what operation sign allows me to put things back together? And when I say operation sign, I mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. And only 2 of those put things together. And I hope you said addition just based on your previous knowledge of expanded form in 2nd grade. So we're going to put the plus sign there. One of the things that we're going to talk about today also is pictorial versions of that. So I pulled up, and let me get my screen stretched here. I pulled up the place value blocks from our, and it's not going to let me stretch it. I'm so sorry. Let's see, maybe I can do it this way. So you're going to see the hundreds, tens, and ones. I put it there a little smaller. What if I was making that number 362? I would come over here to the side. You can't really see it because I don't have it on the screen. But if I want to do a pictorial version of that, I'm going to have 300s. And if you're having to draw it, you can also draw that picture. You just don't have to draw all the little dots there. Just remember the size of the blocks. But I have 300s. I have 6 tens. And then I'm going to have one more. And then I'm going to have 2 ones. So if I wanted to do a pictorial version of 362, I could use my base 10 block knowledge to help me draw that picture. I could draw 3 of these to represent the hundreds. I could draw 6 of the rods to represent the tens, and then just the tiny little squares to represent the ones. So that one made it very easy to do that number. Now, what I would like to do next is I would like to show you a different number, but I'm trying to pull those off and I'm not sure why it won't let me pull that off. Let's see if I have to. Oh, I can clear it off. All right. So just play around with that. This is actually from our virtual manipulative slide. You can go on there and click on the base 10 blocks and pull it up and just play around with numbers at home to see what the pictorial version of that would look like. But what if I wanted to make 156? I'm going to just pull over one of the hundreds. I said 56, so I need 5 tens. And then I'm going to need 6 of the ones. So if I needed to make a pictorial version of that standard form number, I could just draw these blocks just like you're seeing here. So remember, pictorial is something visual that represents the number that's being shown. Standard form means just writing the number as it is using digits in each place value. And then expanded form is pulling it out like a rubber band. When I think of expanded form, again, I think of that rubber band being stretched and that number being pulled apart. But I want that number to stay together even though it's pulled apart. So I'm going to put those plus signs in between each number when I'm writing it. Today, your lesson work is going to be from iExcel B8, where you're going to be going from standard form to expanded form. I'm not sure. I did that lesson last night. I always do the lesson work, but I can't remember right offhand if there was any pictorial pictures on there. So if there is, pictorial forms on there. So if there is, then you know that you can always design that number. Just open up another tab and get that virtual manipulative so it'll help you see it if there is any. And you can make those numbers yourself, but they're going to have the picture there for you to look at as well. Just remember what represents the hundreds, the tens, and the ones in those place value blocks. You're also going to have a problem of the day. And again, the problem of the day is one of those where you can have multiple answers. So it's not just one. Challenge yourself. Come up with some of those. In math class, I like to think outside the box, and I hope that you guys will like that as well, because when we get back into our brick and mortar school, we're going to be doing that type of thing. We're going to be thinking a lot. We're going to be talking a lot about what the numbers really represent. And that's one of the things that when I send you a message back, I like you responding back to me so that we can talk about math. Math is really important, and there's other ways to solve things besides just one. So I'd like to hear your all's thoughts on that. So when I ask questions, it's just to see what your thinking is. And I hope you enjoy thinking about math, because it's one of my favorite things to do, is to think outside that box and come up with ideas on my own. Um, but I want you to work on iExcel today. Make sure you get your work finished so that you don't have to work all day, one whole day, just to try to catch up. If you work a little bit each day, you'll get your work finished, and it shouldn't take you very long. My work usually takes about, by the time you watch the video, it may take 20 minutes beyond that video to finish your assignment for me. So always go back and double check to see if I've graded your work, and look for responses from me. I'm trying to respond on all of your assignments. So you can find that at the bottom of your classwork that you turned in the right hand bottom of the screen. So you should be able to find it there. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing my small group today.